Well, today's lesson is the serpent. This is going to be about the serpent that was in the garden. Now, the serpent wasn't an actual snake, but the same spirit that controls Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, till this day. This serpent is actually a man. The serpent in the Bible in the beginning was actually a man. How do we know? Well, let's just use some simple sense, like just some simple. We just gonna use some simple common sense. What snakes talk, man? Like, our people need to start thinking. Like, what snakes do you know talk? You ain't never seen a snake talk, and this is supposed to be a book that's about real world events, right? Something real. But if you keep believing in dumb shit, you gonna think it's a fantasy. You gonna think it's fake. This is not about if you believe it or if you feel this shit is real. This is about some real, literal, historical events. But I'm digressing right now. Now we're going to start off, right? Common sense, this is a man. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So we know from my video on the tree of life and knowledge of good and evil that this is not talking about a literal tree. I already did a video on that. So these trees are the metaphorical trees that they're talking about, because tree represents a man. You know what I'm saying? Going Genesis 2 and 9. You know, which explains if you go to Genesis 2 and 9, right? We're gonna go a little further back. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. So these are literal trees meant to eat from, right? The tree of life also in the midst of the garden. So tree of life, that ain't no physical food. You can't eat you can eat life because everything food sustain your life. But and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? So both of them was in the middle of the garden. But these two are making a distinction. We know knowledge is not tangible. It's not a literal physical thing you can touch. So a tree of life and of good and evil are not real trees, but the tree represents a man. And that's why we have a terminology called the family tree. You get me? A family tree. So the tree represents a man and the fruit is the information, represents information, right? So let's go ahead and go into it. All right. Yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and prove how the tree is a man. All right. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking, right? So this tree, mm, this tree represents a man. All right. So now in Genesis 3:1, we know that's not referring to literal trees. It's referring to other trees. So what does that mean? There were other trees, other men in the garden. They wasn't of Adam and Eve's tree, which means family tree or nation, nationality, race. So they wasn't of the same nation or family tree of Adam and Eve. So there was other trees, right? And it says, ye shall not eat of every tree. You can eat, right? Um, even though race doesn't really exist, it's all about nationality. So there were other people, right? Other men, and it says, and where we go when we go down to Genesis 2, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but so these are the metaphorical trees because it's still referring to the tree of knowledge and good and evil. But the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, the man that's in the middle of this garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So you're not supposed to. We wasn't supposed to listen to that information. So what are these? What is these fruits that we could try? Well, everybody had. Well, now I'm about to break that down. So there was other people, right? And other people, other nations, right? That's not your nation. Other nations or people usually have their own cultures, customs, and traditions, right? So we was free to explore the customs and traditions of everybody else in the world, but these specific people were fucking weirdos. So we wasn't supposed to try their customs. Like, and matter of fact, they was in complete opposition to the Most High. He didn't fuck with them at all. So he didn't want us to deal with them in any type of way. That's why it says we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, because there was other people in the garden. But so we can try out the customs of everybody else. But these people right here, that nigga right there, nah, we don't fuck with him. But what happened, right? You know what I'm saying? We basically was told we can do anything, just avoid that one nigga, right? So what happened? Uh, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die, for God doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So what he do? He finessed her, right? So we know that the people and the fruit meant that we could enjoy the tradition and the culture of the other people, but that one dude in particular, we wasn't supposed to listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Or else the Most High basically just told us, like, if out of all these people, you can fuck with, but this dude right here, if you fuck with anything he doing, me and you, we nothing. I don't fuck with you no more. Which is a really big deal. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because the dude was the ops, right? And in all seriousness, if you pay attention, he was the Most High's op. He was a serpent, right? He was literally everything opposite of the Most High. Everything he had to offer was the opposite of the Most High. While God offered you life, he was the man in the middle that offered you life, immortality. This nigga right here, he had death on a silver platter. So he was the ways of death. He pretty much was death incarnate. That makes sense. So what did this serpent, this man do, right? He finessed her. He used slick wordplay, ran game on her mind like the shit he was saying made sense or something. He got her to chill with him, let her guard down, made her believe the bullshit. He sounded smart, and she found him attractive, and he finessed her like he was teaching her the game. You feel me? Like he was teaching her the so-called truth. Nah, he ain't telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? He just saying that because you did. He hating on a nigga. He basically was hating on the Most High. He's like, it's like that nigga when you got a girl and there's this other nigga that's hating on you behind your back. You feel me? So he basically finessed her, and she thought he was attractive. Because what they say, Cause this is basically what it was. Like, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, right? So that means like he seemed like a decent guy, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. So she was attracted to him. So she looked at him and she was like, okay, well, he don't look that bad. And the tree to be desired to make one wise, and he seemed smart, right? So he seemed smart to her. She took her the fruit. So after he and passed all these other little dumb nitpicks that she had, she fell for the finesse. So she started taking on his customs. She started trying things his way. And then she felt like, oh, well, this ain't that bad. But really, it's like if we Crips and that nigga over there blood, and then your girl go over there go fuck with the Bloods. And the Crips was the right way the whole time. Now she wanna come over here and be like, nah, it ain't nothing. Like we go over there go mess with the Bloods. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the whole time, in our mind, it's like, nah, fuck the other side. And you come over here, nah, fuck you too. There's certain limits there's certain lines you can't cross. Even when it comes to women, like women, your girl can't cross the line many times. But when it comes to your ops or certain shit, there's certain lines that just can't be crossed. And there's certain shit you can't repair. In this sense, they was able to like kind of redeem themselves, but this fuck up caused a whole lot of misery. You feel me? So what did she do? She started to learn his ways, followed his customs, took on his information, which was really corrupt info. Then had her husband, Adam, the man that started it all, to do the same and follow the ways of the opposition, which is why he was called a serpent because he spoke poison and was clever with his word choice. Serpent is just a characteristic. It don't actually mean a person that's a snake. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna go. We're gonna look at the word serpent, right? I'm about to show you that the serpent term serpent is not a literal terminology. Oh, wait, I gotta find strongest G. Because I know in the New Testament they more elaborate and break down what it means. Because Yahushua was explaining how things worked when he was Adam. All right. So when his name was Adam. Because you're going to come back looking the same. You're just going to have a different name because you ain't going to remember certain shit. All right. All right. Now, the snake, now the Greek word for serpent is ophis. Ophis. And which means snake or serpent. And pay attention to the definition. You know what I'm saying? The serpent was an emblem of cunning, so it was a mark of cunning and wisdom, right? Cunning, which is trickery, right? Evil, and wisdom, which is good. The pure definition of good and evil. You feel me? Truth would mix with lies. Good and evil, right? So I wanted to get that. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna go back to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis. I believe it's the third chapter. Genesis third chapter. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna finish with our breakdown. So what was it? It was 6, right? So that all that happened. You know what I'm saying? The snake. What she was supposed to do was clearly see that cuz was the opposition and say, fuck you, the ops. I ain't for sure. Fuck with nothing you got to say. And move the other way. The moment the idea was even entertained to her, she was supposed to shut that shit down. But she listened to the ops. And what we fucked up at, right? We followed after her instead of checking her, which made us follow the ways of the opposition. You feel me? So we ended up following the ops as well, which rightfully caused the Most High to stop fucking with us. All because she let another man finesse her and us not checking our chick, bro. That's why sometimes you gotta check things at the door. You gotta be a man about your shit and check that shit. You feel me? Being a man about your shit is a really big thing. You understand? All right. Now, what did this situation call? Why is this such a key story that keep getting played back to us and keeps being sent back to us as a warning since the beginning of time, right? Um, I'm about to explain why. Because it caused a war. Not checking her and letting us to the opposition caused a war that would last thousands upon thousands of years. And this war will trickle down between this woman and this man's children versus that man's children. You feel me? And and because of that situation, these two men basically end up having to go to war with each other, and they see their children, that war passed down to their children, and because of what she did, she has many sorrows in the world. Like that shit make women miserable. Now her kids gotta die. Everybody taken from her. Anybody she loved that's important to her is gone. You feel me? So it's a deep situation. This whole book is a book on war. It's a book on war. And we're gonna go deeper into that when I can. You know what I'm saying? And many, you know what I'm saying, and this is deep because many women experience many sorrows betraying or going against their men because she listened uh to this nigga, right? That wasn't her brother, wasn't her man, wasn't her nationality, wasn't her nation. She lost her position of rulership. You feel me? So if you read, we're gonna go back to 3 and 7, and the eyes of them both were open. They was naked, woo, 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 all the way down the line. So I'm pretty sure we know the story. The presence of the Lord, and God called to Adam, "Where art thou?" The woman gave her to be with me. She gave me the tree, and I did eat. So she admitted she ate the tree, right? And the Lord God said unto her, "A servant, thou hast done this. Thou art to be above and above the belly." Right? The servant. All right. So she said to be serpent. All right. And the Lord said unto the woman, "What is that thou hast done?" And the woman said, "The serpent beguiled me, and I did, and basically I listened to him. He tricked me, and I listened to him." So what happened? She got finessed by this nigga. She listened to him, and it caused her whole life to fuck up, right? Because the dude had no good intentions for her from the get go. If she wasn't his girl, that ain't his wife. She ain't really got nothing to do with him. So he ain't really gotta have a reason to have no good intentions for her, right? And like I said, what I say, like many women have sorrows. I'm about to prove it. I will put enmity, this war, just because this caused a war between the serpent, the Adam and Eve children, and this man's children, down the line. Fuck this nigga keep pulling through like that, bro. That's like the third time cause then did it. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow. Why? And thy conceptions. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. So And the desire shall be towards thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. She lost her position of rulership because she listened to another nigga instead of just being on her game. This was basically her perfect time to shine. Oh yeah, nah, we ain't gonna do that shit. If she had just did that and shine, she would still had a position of rulership. But she lost that shit. Now women hate that shit because that's how it goes. So it's like a rebellion against men because they would want to rule again. But nah, you fuck that shit up for yourself. You know. So when it says like she gonna have sorrows and multiply and bring forth her children, all right, it means like under these harsh conditions, right? In the ghettos, in the hood, in poverty, she gonna bring forth children, and she gonna be having sorrows because her children gonna be coming out in these streets. They gonna go to the hood and they gonna die. It's damn near hard for her to stop it, but she still gotta have them because she love kids. Because women are good with the children. Children, like when they actually connect with their kids, like children bring some type of a different type of hope to a shorty. Even a bitch that don't really give a fuck about a kid, if she had a bond with him, if something actually end up happening to him, she gonna realize how much she love him. So yeah, so we gonna we gonna go down. And Adams, he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, right? Because he listened to his woman, who was listening to the ops, right? Nigga that don't fuck with us has eaten the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of. Nigga, I told you not to listen to this nigga. Basically, this is what it's saying. I told you not to listen to this nigga. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, well, now the whole earth, you gotta work now. And sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Because before there was like a mildew. There was no rain. There was a reason why people didn't really believe the flood was gonna happen. Because before that time period, there was no such thing as it raining from the sky. At first, the earth used to give off a mist and give off dew, and it gave off the right amount of water to water all plant life. So people didn't really have to garden and like trim and take care of it then. But now, since that curse the ground, now we actually gotta learn how to grow on crops and plant in the garden and shit of that nature. Before it wasn't like that. Before the earth used to just take care of itself. But now, as a punishment to us, he was like, nah, fuck that. Now you better learn how to pick up some corn, nigga. You better learn how to pluck corn, bro. Cause you can't pluck no corn, you ain't gonna eat, cuz you're gonna be feeling sad. And then by the time your hands get done hurting you, you're gonna be sad while you eating. So that was the prophecy. Until later on we got to a point where we got technology and now we can, motherfuckers can do something different. But all the way up until this time, people had to do slave labor, farmers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a depressing job to have to do that shit every day. You gotta be focused on that and have a passion for it, right? So, and as far as I eat of it, thorns also thistles shall they bring forth thee, right? So before plants didn't have thorns, now you got thorns and thistles. So every time you touch it, it cuts your hands. And what was it going through like during slavery times? What it was doing was picking cotton, right? And that cotton got thorns on it, and it whooped your hand. It started cutting your shit. And thou shalt eat of the herbs of the field, and in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou return. So he basically saying, all right, because you listen to this nigga, I don't fuck with you no more. And what was the consequences of him cut? He basically just cut us off, cut him off. So what was the consequences for him cutting us off or cutting off Adam, right? Losing your immortality, dying. Why? Because while we was around him, we was immortal. But we didn't quite get the exact secret to like perfect like this immortality. He had a true life. And that's why I was like, okay, well, you know, look at you, yeah, you just like us now. But had you had taken that information and listened to me instead of this nigga, you would be living forever right now, wouldn't you? Now get the fuck out. That's basically what happened. You feel me? So, and I'm about to break that down, right? And Adam called his wife named Eve because she was the mother of all living, right? And the living were immortal, so she was the mother of all the gods. She was the mother of the immortals. Unto Adam and his wife did the Lord God make coats and skin and clothing. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. Now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. You know, so oh yeah, you know, look at you, you just like one of us. You know, you just a guy like one of us. Unless you had took the information I told you about, so you could live, be immortal, nigga. All right. And therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Right? So God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And so he drove out the man. What are you saying? So if you had took on that information so you'd be immortal, then yeah, you would be like us. Now get the fuck out. So he told him to get the fuck out. Right? Now, if you pay attention, God, this being that man that looked like, uh, this being that men look like, was the ruler of these people in the garden. And if anything, Eden, which is the earth, he was undisputed because you didn't have nobody, no wars around this time. You didn't have nobody challenging him. So he was an undisputed king of the earth. So this God was the original king of this earth. And then he kicked Adam, the prince, who was to become king in the future, out. Which was his firstborn son. So out of the ground, one of those women gave birth to a kid for him. And it was one of his firstborn sons. And he chose him. Out of one of those women, he chose him to rule in the East. His firstborn son. Slakia, bear with me. I had to go do something, so I didn't get a chance to finish. But we're about to get back to it. So even after we betrayed him, or enemy, or basically betrayed him by fucking with the ops, a nigga that didn't like him in the first place, you know, because Eve was basically fucking with a man that didn't like God in the first place, which really no man really tolerate. Like somebody going to go fuck with their enemies, no matter what type of information they got. It don't matter what they say. That's the enemy, or that's somebody that we don't fuck with. And you go, they go fuck with that person, and then you just became the same thing they is. So he couldn't fuck with him. But with the most side of him, it was a little different. Nobody can really challenge him, so it wasn't like he was a threat. He just somebody he didn't like, and he had the patience. And that's the difference between like somebody that actually got power and somebody that got illusion of power. Somebody that actually got power, they ain't gotta flex it all the time. Like, but somebody that got the illusion of it, and that's insecure about themselves. They gonna threaten you all the time, man. With the person that got the power, they just gonna be patient about it and wait for you to fuck up. And it's gonna be on some fuck around and find out shit. I believe I said that before. But even after that, he still had a soft spot for Adam and his descendants, right? The Most High kept a little bit of his spirit energy inside Adam and his children, where they lived for almost 1,000 years until the days of Noah, where which is around that time that the sons of God, or the men that were once gods, started sleeping with mortal women, right? So before that, we still had a long lifespan. But after we started dealing with the women of other nations, um, we, we were still guys, but we was imperfect. We was imperfect gods. Like, we was like, in the sense of guys where we had a long lifespan, but not immortality anymore. So we went from gods to imperfect gods, because we were still known as the son of God. But then it said, then the son of God started having, took mortal men, took on the wives of the sons of men. And the sons of men mean mortal men, right? So once he took down the wives of mortal men, then and then the whole world became in wickedness. Basically, the Most High was like, look, my spirit can't dwell with y'all no more, so y'all life gonna be shortened. And you can read that in Genesis 5, like all the way down. Adam lived, all the days of Adam lived were 930 years. So you lived almost 1,000 years. Self 912 years. So back then, our family was living like 1,000 years. But then by the time you get to Genesis 6, right, and 1, and it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. All right, so he's saying, look, my power ain't gonna always be in you. You know what I'm saying? So better make this shit count, because y'all about to start dying soon. Like, you ain't about to be living for these 900 years no more. You about to start being around 120 to 100 years old. And down the line, it might be shorter than that, because niggas gonna be taking your life. All right? So, now, a serpent was smart enough to trick two people out of their godhood. This is why you need to be smart like them. When you can't physically fight and you're surrounded on all sides by the enemy, you need to be harmless and wise. Um, give you an example of that. Matthews 10 and 16. Right? Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpent and harmless as doves. So it's best when you're surrounded by your enemies on all sides, it's best to be wise about it. Don't sit right there and trying to be a tough guy, be all aggressive and shit. You gotta be harmless and be smart about your situation. Learn how to maneuver. Make sure you can move right. All these ways was taught to us since the beginning. We used to think way smarter back then. That's why we used to always win our wars. And at one time, we ruled the entire world. But then we started getting prideful, goofy, selfish. We started forgetting to use wisdom when it came to things, because we got spoiled. Now, Strong's the G 3789. I'm gonna get the actual definition for the word servant. Right. It's about to explain who the serpent is. This man that deceived Eve, the mother of the gods. See, the Bible was meant for the Jews, and our people simply refer to him as simply refer to that serpent, this dude that tricked our the mother of our people out of godhood. They simply refer to him as the devil, which is the man that's basically God's son. He's just in complete opposition of the Most High's ways, and he reincarnated as leader of the so-called white man, the first white man. And we would put our people in prisons, jail, and oppress them during the end times. Now, what race of people do that till this day? Or has been doing that to so-called black, Hispanics, Native Americans, Latinos, etc. Don't worry, I'll wait. All right. We know who that is. So-called Edomites. Right? There ain't no friendship in this shit, in this thing. It's fucked the other side for life. These niggas not our people. They ain't our friends. We ain't family. We ain't cool with them. Don't ever forget what the fuck they did. This shit ain't gonna never be over. Fuck these people. When we about to prove that this is talking about them in particular. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you in prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall be tribulations 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Be faithful until you die, and I'll give you the secrets to immortality. And this is the same spirit that tricked Eve in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? The devil, the man. What we're gonna do is, now let's look up the definition for devil. The real definition, the Greek word for the word devil. Right? The Greek word for the word devil. Diablos. Right? Applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of God, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. Say act a part of it because that's who he is. He ain't acting. That's what he is. That's who he is. But you know, they gonna put that shit up in there to trick you up. Cause they don't want you to know. We in their system. So niggas gotta learn how to be smart about it and maneuver in they shit. They system designed for the moment you get irritated. Cause the devil's purpose is to sift you for weak. He's supposed to shake you up or annoy you, aggravate you, sift you for weak. So a lot of times our people get aggravated through the situations, then they spaz out. Once you finally get aggravated and you stressed out and you finally flash out, then that's when they go ahead and be like, oh, look, he doing something negative, even though they caused those problems for you in the first place. Now you finally act on it. Now you get locked up. It's like a chick. They know you ain't supposed to be fighting a bet, but she keep smacking you upside the head, doing all this shit to you until you finally flash out and go to jail. That's the whole purpose of what these niggas do to us. It's to aggravate and stress us the fuck out so they can accuse and persecute us. That's why We can't be flashing out with our family, with our people, our folks. So that was the exact definition for this man. Not no real snake. This man that started from the beginning. Right? Right. Now, we can further prove that this verse is talking about a certain race or group of people when we go to Revelations 20 and 1. You gotta realize, like, the Bible is written in parables and allegories and metaphors, but you gotta be able to understand it. And if you read it, you'll understand, like, it's written how we rap. Eat it till she cry, call it wine and dine. Like, that's just a rap verse, but you get the metaphor behind it. You ain't actually eating a bitch, but you're eating a bitch. So we're just getting to the point. You know what I'm saying? And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is a devil, right? Now, we know that nigga died 1,000 years ago, so, but it said, like, he, this old serpent, this new nigga that they came down to put chains on, he's still a devil. So that means he reincarnated, which is a devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. All right. The 1,000 years represent the fall of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire was out of commission for over 1,000 years. You know, now people gonna be looking at it like, oh, it said the angels from the sky. No, we writing in metaphors. It's not literal. And we was writing with people. People might be wondering, like, why is the Bible written this way? Well, the Bible is written in parables and allegories because this is a book of war. This information was not to be meant to be given to the enemy hands. The secrets are not for them, right? These secrets are not for these people, not for nobody else but ours. The secrets of the universe were only meant for the children of Israel. The secrets of the heavens, and out of those elected few are the ones that are able to understand this book. The Bible is written like how our people rap, right? And we about to prove that it was written a certain type of way, because when Yahushua was in the Roman Empire and the so-called Edomites or a white man was trying to talk to him, he would speak to him in parables instead of speaking to him directly and giving him information. And he explained why. Because these niggas was our ops. He was a black man. He was letting them know, like, this is only meant for our people. Like, we ain't supposed to tell them like this shit. That's why they can't teach you nothing. They gonna teach you, you gotta grab God like this, because they don't understand this shit. They're not meant to understand it. They ain't for them. Now, by to prove to you that this information wasn't meant for them, it was a secret for our people. It was a book of war when we got captured. Before we got captured, this information was to be put down. And when we finally get captured under this kingdom, we was gonna learn about it and figure it out. Only elect few was gonna figure it out what this actually meant. Matthew 13:9 through 11. And who have ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples, so this is Yahushua, or the man y'all so-called Jesus. And the disciple came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? So he's wondering, why you keep speaking to the white people in parables? And he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you. All right, so it's gave to his people, his race of people. It was given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. So this book, this information was given to y'all, so-called African Americans, Latino, Puerto Ricans, or whatever. This information was given to y'all to know the secrets of the universe. It wasn't for them. But to them, it was not given. So it wasn't meant for them. This was only meant for a certain group of people. 12 powerful families, like 12 tribes. Tribe just mean family. Clan mean family. House means family. It just over the time period, the words change, and they start playing games with your head because they know the words change. Like the word hoe went from 304 to slut to thigh. It's just the evolution of the change of the word, meaning the same thing, but they know it. People are ignorant of that, of the time frame, so they'll sit right there and pretend like the words mean something completely different when they really don't. They just fucking with your head. A tribe don't just mean like motherfuckers that live in tents. Tribe just mean a family. Tribal. Like, yeah, these niggas been playing mind games and wordplay, using mental gymnastics on motherfuckers. So now they have everybody overcomplicating simple shit when the answers are really simple, right? And because we are the children of the Most High, like God destined to put everything back in righteousness, these motherfuckers jealous of us. This ain't about no skin tone. This ain't about you being a nigga. The fuck? Nigga, this is about who you really is, like a family heritage, an inheritance of the earth, of the whole world. It's about a birthright to rule. Shit that's gonna be made right regardless. And you know what I'm saying? And they jealous of us because we're gonna put this whole world in the right balance. Because the whole world is stuck in wickedness. Under their rule, the wicked, under their rule, everything is in wickedness. And when the wicked rule, when the evil motherfuckers rule, people not happy. No matter how much you chasing bread night, if you really happy, you wouldn't be chasing bread every day. If you was really so satisfied, you wouldn't be chasing a motherfucking dollar. So you ain't happy because you keep chasing shit. You constantly chasing happiness because you depressed. And that's how this system was made, for you to be depressed. Be depressed and stressed. You feel me? These motherfuckers ain't got no fuck they smiles. They ain't got nothing for us. And then you trying to climb corporate ladder to fuck other niggas up over to get on the top, they gonna reward you for it because you fucking other niggas over who is they enemies to get on the top. So it's gonna make sense for you to get rewarded for fucking over your own. You ain't no real nigga for fucking over your people, nigga. I'm about to prove that. This is why you about to see. And now I am no more in the world, John 17:11. And now I am no more in the world. But these that are in the world, I come to thee, right? Because Yahushua, he no longer on earth. He already completed his task to achieve Godhood again. So now he in his heavenly council, right? He in his heavenly estate. He in his home in the universe. Holy Father, right? Holy just means separate, unique, right? Special. Keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. Right? I put that on. Sorry, so then it's I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, right? Because we got the truth. We got this information. And every time you hear a motherfucker that actually trying to teach this truth, motherfuckers hate us for it. Motherfuckers will actually get mad because you read the Bible. There's motherfuckers I know that get irritated just because you speak this shit. And it's in their spirit. It's supposed to be that way because they meant to die. That's how it's set up for the Most High. The Most High don't want them to get it. So he put a spirit on them to not accept it because he want to kill them. That's the truth. The Most High don't love everybody. It says that in the scriptures. Like, he don't love everybody. Some people he won't. Like, he loved the day of judgment. He loved it when it's finally that day where he can fuck everybody up because he been patient with you for so long. So it's like the same way that when you feel some type of way, somebody been trying you all this time and you've been giving them pass, and it's finally that day where you finally ready to just take off on their ass. Then you like, hey, today is that day. You about to get this ass whooping. You about to get this smoke. I pray not that thou should take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from the evil, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So we don't think like these people. The same way that Adam didn't think like these people, or Yahweh Shai don't think like these people. Man, y'all call Jews. We don't think like these motherfucking people. Because the shit up in this world ain't enjoyable for us. It ain't nothing in this world we want. Because they ain't got shit to offer. I don't want no fucking dollar because it can't do shit for me. It ain't gonna get me my own kingdom. It ain't gonna get me my own country. They dollar is not supposed to get me my country. I need to kill them and take their shit to get my shit back. Cause these niggas owe us this shit anyway. Why the fuck do I want their dollar? I want everything you got. Give it because it belongs to me. Fuck they paper. And as for this book, the Most High only reveals his secret when they be trying to teach you that everybody, God love everybody and everybody his chosen people. That's not true. Only the 12 families of Israel are God's chosen people. And with the top being Judah, which is so-called African Americans, and Benjamin, which is so-called West Indians. Those two are the top chain of the other 12 tribes. Those two were the ones that was meant to rule. With Reuben, the Puerto Ricans, then the third, they was originally the first. Then they lost their nah, that's all they got. With they birth. But at the end of the day, Ephraim was still ruling at one point. Because they ruled the Puerto Ricans ruled the Northern Kingdom. When there was a kingdom split, we had the Southern Kingdom. All right. And like, he about to deal with this shit. He don't fuck with these people. He gonna deal with them for what they did. They took his children from him and they enslaved them, so they gotta pay for that. He will put somebody in captivity, will go in captivity. You put somebody in slavery, you go into slavery. You take somebody's kids, you start beating on them, start raping them, snatching their kids, and you gonna get it. You gonna get it yourself. But the thing is, when you come around, you getting it tenfold. You getting it worse than what you gave up. And you did some horrible things that motherfuckers can't even think about if they knew what it was. Think about what's about to happen to you. All right. I'm about to prove that. We're going to go to Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing. Oh, yeah. So, all I say, like the Most High, everybody not God's people, because he only reveal his secrets to his chosen children. White people ain't his kids, ain't his kids. Let me see. Hawaiians, not his people. Africans are not his people. African Americans and Africans are not the same. As a matter of fact, Africans and African Americans were going to war with each other. And that's why we got sold into slavery. Them niggas, we was fucking their ass up. They needed help, so they sold us into slavery. And white people and Africans actually have a lot more in common than people think, because they follow their customs and culture. They just put a remix on it, put a different name on it. But all the customs of so-called Edomites, so-called white people, come from Africans. Right? And I'm about to prove to you that only 12 tribes of Edo, so-called African Americans, Puerto Ricans, Latinos, Native Americans, these are the people that the Most High reveals his secrets to. And it says in the Amos 3 and 7, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And the servants, the prophets, were the children of Israel. The prophets only come from the Israelites. They don't come from no Arabs. Don't come from no Hawaiians. Jamaicans, yeah. They come from Jamaicans. They come from African Americans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, etc. But these other folks, nah. The Most High don't love every race of people. He don't love every nation. As a matter of fact, he said all other nations are a drop of bucket. The other nations, yeah. The other nations don't really matter, but there's one particular nation that he just hates. So there's other nations that don't really mean shit to him. He ain't really got no beef with them. He just don't really care about them. But these particular people, the ones that rule this earth today, he got beef with them. It's real beef. Like, he hate them motherfuckers. He said it. He don't like them. Like, he hate these people with a passion. But he a fair one. So he gonna give you a chance of rulership because, hey, that was the agreement. That's a deal. All right, you got your little time period. And there's a season for every kingdom, right? And a season mean a time frame. There's 4 seasons. They already had they start off, then they had their medieval period. Now this is the end of their shit. This shit almost over with. So once that's over with, it's done. You see? He only revealed the secrets through his prophets, his people. And the prophets are set up to explain his message. What things that are going on in the world to help you break down and understand the words of Yahweh through Yahushua. So through his son, right? And Yahushua was Adam. That's why he came back and died for everybody's sins, because he's the one that fucked everything up. He the one that started it all. It wasn't because he just died because he was only begotten fun. Like, they wanted to give you this Jesus just died for no reason type thing. No, he had a reason. He had to die because he's the reason everybody got to die. So he had to die for everybody's sins because he's the one that fucked everything up and put everybody in turmoil. So he had to get beaten. He had to get whips because no matter what, you're going to pay for what you did. You're going to come back. This is your life. You go to the heavens. Everybody, our people go to paradise, right? When we die, we go to the heavens, we go to paradise. And once we dead, we wait for our sentence and we come back here on the earth. And your sentence is your judgment is on this earth. On what's going to happen to you. Now, when these people die, hey, just saying, it's a little different for them. They got a reason to fear to die. We shouldn't be scared. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that before he became a so-called white man, before his pigment like wasted away, right? Because melanin is what makes you have color, brown skin tone, and all that. And back in the day, even if you go through history, the further and further you go back, the blacker and blacker you get, right? Yeah. So the further and further you go back, right, the blacker and blacker you get, right? And if you go to Strong's, 62 and 44, you would get the name for Esau. And Esau just means wasted away is he, because his skin tone and his pigment went away. That's why his name was Esau, because he was the first so-called white man, because his pigment left him. This is why they used to take people and teach them certain parts of the Bible and beat them, because they were surprised that these people had all this information on them and knew what was going to happen before they took them over. So these motherfuckers scared of us, and that's why they watch us so closely. That's why even without a gun, they still afraid of us, and they'll pop a nigga and lay a nigga down. Because even without a weapon, we still dangerous. You ever seen a black man without a gun? He still looks scary. So 6-2. Matter of fact, let's go to. Oh, they try to take that shit out that book. So you can't find it. All right. Strong's 620, 62 and 44. Asha, which is Esau. Asha, to waste away, right? It means wasted away is he. That's what Esau means. Because his kidney was gone. Oh, God, somebody always trying to mess with him. His pigment went away. It's that right there. Dentures, tacos, I be looking up weird shit. And the precursor to Cain, Esau, and King Herod is this man. Because they're the reincarnations of the serpent, right? And he didn't turn white until he reincarnated as one of Eve's kids and killed his brother. Because the Most High doesn't agree with markings and tattoos. So he put a mark, and he put on him a mark that the whole world could see, right? And if you don't agree with tattoos and other engraving images on your body, what he gonna do? The mark is your skin. So he took the melanin from his skin, the little mark, little tattoo that keep you from safe from the sun. He took that shit, your natural skin tone. He took it. He took his skin tone, and then that was the mark because everybody was brown skin or darker back then. So if everybody dark skinned and you see this dude as the only white dude, then you gonna feel like that's a medical disorder. So people knew to stay away from him and be safe, right? And because he basically like had a form of leprosy, and real leprosy in the Bible is when your skin tone turns white, right? That's when your skin tone turns white, and I can prove that when your skin tone turns white and your hair turns blonde. You about to go to let's go back. Go back to Genesis. 4. 9 and 10. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So he was being arrogant and shit after he just killed his own fucking brother. This type of mindset these people got. They fucked up. He's a madman. And he said, what hast thou done? Right? The voice of thy brother cry unto me from the ground. So he basically like, yo, nigga, my bitch ass brother just killed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just basically explained to him like, this nigga just killed me. Right? And now art thou cursed from the earth, right? So we're gonna stop right there, right? So from right there, now thou art cursed from the earth, and has opened her mouth to receive and a brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. And a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be on the earth, right? So, like, there's a reason why they had these great depressions, right? These people had to conquer lands. They got to, because the prophecy was that they can't have anything of their own. They won't be able to farm their own land, so they gotta go around conquering other countries and bouncing from place to place because they need other people in order to have their own resources. That's why if you ever look at the medieval times, whenever they by themselves, they was like fucked up, or they either lived in caves or some shit, or they just had to hunt animals to survive because the Most High put a curse on to where they won't be able to yield crops by themselves. So they gotta go to other countries and conquer it. And he was a vagabond and a fugitive. A fugitive means he was a criminal of the whole earth because he's the one that he's a motherfucker that's basically oppressing everybody. He's really the criminal of the earth. Right? These people are criminals of the earth. And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out from this day from the face of the earth, right? So that means everybody on the planet, he basically saying like, don't fuck with him. And from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth. That means he ain't gonna have no home of his own because Esau, so-called white man, don't really have a home of his own. He not from no Europe. Nigga, he stole that land from the Europeans, and they not from Germany either. They stole that from the original Germans, which is the Samoans and the Hawaiians. Those are your original German people. The white man don't got no fucking home. He ain't had no land. Nothing belonged to him. He stole everything. He got to steal everything. He got no choice for killing his own brother. Right? And the Lord said unto him, therefore said, whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him, right? So he put that mark on him, right, to make him look nasty, like to take his pigment away, make him turn white. So everybody else can look at him like he's nasty, so they won't kill him. So they stay away from him. That was a mercy he put on him. But afterwards, as Cain, that's because when he was Cain, he still kind of cared about him. After he came back as Esau, Most High didn't give a fuck about him no more. He still had a little chance of period of forgiveness around that time. After that, he was a lost cause, and the Most High knew it. So he said, Cain, Jacob ever I love, Esau I hated. Because he hate that nigga. Because he gonna do a whole lot of horrible things. He gonna be the end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning of the world that start right after this. After this shit end, we the ones that's gonna rule right afterwards. And the mark that he put on him was taking his skin, giving him leprosy. And we know that the Most High did this multiple times. So you're gonna find out what that mark is. That mark is actually turning your skin white. So he turned Cain's skin white, and then he reincarnated as Esau, which means wasted away as he, because his skin was wasted away, his pigment, his melanin wasted away. Exodus 4 and 6. I'm about to show you how it means the skin. All right, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. Right there, put your hand on your chest. And he put his hand into his bosom, right on his chest. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So that means his hand came out white as snow. Right? 2 Kings 5:27. Right? And the leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, until thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. Right? So leprosy is somebody's skin tone turning white. Right? But Esau, they clean leopards, right? So they leopards. They got leprosy, but they clean leopards. It's not a disease. It's just naturally known, and it's a point behind it. Like it's this is a healthy virus. Like as niggas, this is a person that's contaminating the earth. He's just I don't know. It's hard to explain. Right? They just some. It's basically described they pure wickedness, right? Like a clean germ, right? Something that's like unstable that's causing illness is not pure. But we know leprosy is a disease, and they clean leopards, so they pure, right? So they basically leprosy is evil, so they pure evil. These niggas pure evil, and even then in the scriptures it says that they are the edge of evil. They don't get no evil in them. The only thing that's more evil than them is a wicked woman, like a woman that's just straight up pissed off, because she don't give a fuck about nothing. There's nothing more vengeful than a shorty that really hates your ass. That's the only thing worse.
Water. The number 8.
Now the Lord said this in Genesis 4 and 9, because Abel was in the spiritual world, like I said, pissed off. Now Genesis 4:11, we're gonna revisit that, right? Art now thou cursed from the earth, basically a vagabond. And this is the reason why he pushed his laws, his democracy, and taxes on people, right? Like he bounced from land to land, right? If you look up the word vagabond, what's a vagabond? I'll show you what the definition of the word vagabond means. A person who wanders from place to place without a home or a job, having no settlement. And what did the so-called white man at? He didn't have a home of his own. He wasn't fine conquering the land and just having his own shit. He had to conquer this nigga shit, have this shit, keep taking people's shit. Yeah, everybody had a kingdom to build, but the way he went about things was worse. Because even then, there's certain people that settled in their own lands. These niggas didn't truly settle in their own land. All the time when somebody conquered them, certain people that was original to the nation was still allowed to be there. Once these niggas took over, they took everything. And they took on people's identities. They had nothing. He was a criminal of the earth. Wait, he's a fugitive. Fugitive of the earth. Look up the word fugitive. A person who escapes from a place or is in hiding, especially to avoid the risk of persecution. Right? He's trying his best to avoid persecution from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? He needs you in this mental system of, fuck everybody else, entertainment monkeys, or, that's gonna ahead keep you broke and impoverished and shit. Because if you stuck in a certain mind frame, you can keep building his system, keep building his empire for him. You know what I'm saying? But that's the end of that lesson. I want to shorten this up. I'm too wild for pot. That's it. I'm out.